Hello FlossTube, my name is Leann and I am leann.stitches here on YouTube and on Instagram. You can also find me on Instagram and Facebook as Forbidden Fiber Co. Today is Wednesday, March 6th, 2024, and this is my 35th FlossTube. I forgot to check, 35th, 36th, somewhere around there. It's been 3 weeks since my last video, and I've actually gotten quite a bit of stitching done, and I've been to Nashville Market, and I have, while I'm not the recap play-by-play kind of person, I definitely have some patterns that I picked up to show you and some plans that I made. And yeah, I'm just gonna get straight into the stitching, and let's see how it goes. I'm still kind of unwinding and resting from being in Nashville all weekend and all the work leading up to it. So I might lose my words here and there like I just did. So just bear with me, okay? Okay. The first thing I'm going to show you is my Gilmore Girls stitch along that I'm doing as Forbidden Fiber Co. And we're at a point that I can show you, again, without revealing the bottom part of the project, because those pieces haven't been released yet. So I think I just released block 10, I believe, and that is the puffs, which is down in the bottom. It's my left-hand corner. I don't know if things are backwards, so it might be your right-hand corner, but it's the one with the bell. So since I last showed it to you, we have released Rory is Going to Yale, I Will Always Love You, and the puffs. And I am just having so much fun with this SAL. I'm loving watching everyone. I'm loving stitch. I'm loving talking to everyone about each episode that I chose to put in the pattern, and it's just been way more fun than I ever could have imagined. So we have 3 blocks left. It's not too late to still join. We have patterns available in the shop and thread packs. I think we're out of kits because I think we brought all of the fabric to Nashville, but I'm sure we'll be restocking those soon. The next piece I have to show you is Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And I am stitching this, well, I started this in September of 2020, I believe. And then in 2021, I joined in on a stitch along with Bobby from Pumpkin Creek Primitives, Sam from Sammy Liz, and Sarah from Memphis Sarah E. And we stitched along for a couple of years. And then late last year, we were joined by Sarah from Big Red Human Crafter and one other person, and I'm completely blanking and I'm so sorry. Anyway, I'm almost done with this, you guys. I'm so excited. I'm just going to show you the block that I'm currently working on because it is huge. The whole piece is huge. This is block 11 out of 12. And I don't know where it was when I showed you last time, but I know I've been working down here. I finished that out. I finished the rocks around. I did the train and the smoke, and you can't see him, but I haven't outlined him yet. There's a little ghost up there and the sign and the owl and just lots of little details. This pattern is just amazing, full of the little details. I still have a couple more ghosts to go, and then I have to outline in black, and then I only have one more block and I'm done. And the coolest part about this was that Sarah and I brought, Sarah from Memphis Sarah E, and I brought our pieces to Nashville with us, and we got to take a picture with Kathy Barrick. We showed her the pieces, and we even got to meet the model stitcher who stitched the original piece that's shown on the pattern, and we took a picture with her. And it was just really a lot of fun, and I'm really excited to finish this. It is one of the pieces I wanted to finish this year, and I'm mostly excited to finish it because I've been working on it for a while, but also because when I was down in Alabama last summer, I visited a shop there, and they had a Hawk Run Hollow pattern I'd never seen before. It's called Farms at Hawk Run Hollow. And while I want to stitch Christmas at Hawk Run Hollow with Sam from Sammy Liz and Memphis Sarah E, they are planning to start that. Or no, Sam already started it, but I think Farms is what I want to start next. So I'm definitely gearing for a finish on this. We Zoom once a month, and how it tends to go for me is that I start stitching the night of the Zoom, and then I kind of stitch for a few days after that because I get all excited. So I'm hoping I can finish this block soon, and then finish the 12th block in a couple of months. I'd really love to have it framed and up on the wall for Halloween. We'll see how it goes. The next piece I have to show you, and these are in no particular order in how I worked on them, is Sakura Garden. I have not written down the name of the shop that I got it at. It's on Etsy. I'm going to put a picture up here or maybe up there. And I will write the name of the shop on the screen because I haven't printed out the cover art and I haven't written down her name at all or their name at all. And I feel terrible. But here is where I'm at. I'll put it down here, I think. And I didn't get a lot of progress on this this month. I try to stitch on it 2 days a month, but it was a really busy couple of days. I can't remember what was going on, or maybe I was just really tired, but I'm still working in 939. I think I put in just one strand and that's it, which was like 150 stitches because this is 28 count Lugana and I'm stitching 1/1 full cross. Forgot to mention that for all of those pieces down there, but I'm stitching it on the Forbidden Fiber Go colorway Corn Silk because there's 33,000 stitches of ecru and I really didn't want to stitch those. So I put it on this Corn Silk. It's showing a little bit more yellow in the camera than it is in real life, but it's as close to ecru as I could get with our fabric at the shop. So yeah, I'm stitching this for my son Logan. He's about to be 13 in like 15 days. In 2 weeks, he's going to be 13, which is just insane. And he really loves Japan and we're saving up for a trip to Japan right now. And so I thought I would stitch him a little piece that he could put up in his room. The next piece I have to show you is Mini Realm of Enchantment by Heaven and Earth Designs. The artwork's by Ann Stokes. And I'm stitching this for my daughter Noelle. I asked her before I started stitching on it this month, I think it was this month, it might have been last month, if she still liked it because she picked it out a couple of years ago. And she's 11 now and she's hit middle school and you know how that goes, your taste changes as you grow up. But she said she still really liked it. So I am trying to make it a focus piece this year and get some progress on it. And I got really good stitching in on this month. I ended up stitching it on a Saturday, I think, and I got over 1,000 stitches in just in one day, which is unheard of for me these days. But mostly I just traveled right up this column and I kind of stitched in where I could. But my goal is, since I started in the bottom left-hand corner, I think, I want to go all the way to the top. I really prefer to stitch top down. So I want to go all the way to the top, and then my plan is when I get up to the top, the tippy top of the fairy's wing is right there. So then I kind of want to go in and stitch the fairy because I think that would be fun to see while I stitch all that background. And then I'm also considering chopping off the tree right here and just stitching. I want that light in there, but I don't know that I want to stitch that whole tree. It's really just a lot of brown and black, and I don't know that it enhances the picture at all. And it will definitely get me done a lot faster. The next piece I have is the Moons of 2022. And I didn't bring this to Nashville, but I did get to show Kathy Barrick a picture of where I was at. And she's updating, she's giving a free little addendum every year to update the moons for every year, because this was from 2022. But I think I already changed one of the moons anyway. I think I made October the Hunter moon. And so instead of doing the moons of 2022, I think I'm just going to put the moons or full moons or something like that. I'm not really sure yet. Mini Realm of Enchantment is on 18 count Aida 2/1. I'm stitching this one full moons on a 32 count even weave. It's a mystery. It's from when I very first started dyeing fabric. And there's where I'm at. I don't have, there's not a real colorway to this. I was just learning and playing, but we created a new colorway for market called Vintage Doily. And that runs a little bit pinker than this one. This one really runs truer to ecru, but that would be the closest fabric we have in the shop. Or it's not in the shop yet since we just got home, but it's available at any LNS who picked it up at Nashville. And then we will put it in the shop probably in the spring. So yeah, I have been working in this part down here, and I worked on that tree, and I also stitched a bunch of those birds. And I almost finished filling in. I did this whole hill and this whole tree, and I almost finished filling in this hill, but I didn't quite. And I thought about taking the time to go back and finish it, but something was going on and I didn't. I just started working on whatever piece was next. It might have been, honestly, it might have been model stitching that I had to get started on. The next piece I have to show you is my temperature Quaker. It's by Stitchin Mommy, and it's available on Etsy. She has lots of temperature patterns in her shop. I don't have a printout for it. I used to. I don't know what I did with it, so I'll put a picture up there. Here's where I'm at. And honestly, I don't remember where this was when I showed it last to you. I'm pretty sure I finished this one out, which is January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. I think that's September, and then I got started on October. And I think I'm gonna work on this week. I really wanna finish it, and I'm so close. I just have November. I have to finish October, and then I have November, and then December is just all these little fill-in motifs all over. So I'm really close, and I really wanna finish it. I haven't had a finish yet, and it's already March, and that just feels wrong. The next piece is on an Elsa, and this is from Aurora CS on Etsy, and I'm stitching this for my daughter Genevieve. I forgot to tell you, I'm stitching 1/1 on 28 count. It's an even weave. I don't really know where I got it from. It's just in my stash. On an Elsa, I'm stitching on a 16 count Aida 2/1 using all the called for DMC. And I got a lot of progress on this one too. I couldn't tell you how many stitches. I didn't write down how many stitches I stitched on anything, in all honesty. But I worked a lot in here. I did a lot of pink. I really just kind of started in this corner, and I've kind of just been making my way out. And Anna, this is Anna right here, and there's her braid, and she's really starting to take shape. There's her hand and her arm. So it was a lot of fun to stitch on this. I almost didn't want to stop, but I needed to get working on another project. I think I stitched on full moons after this, and I'm trying to stitch on full moons when it actually is a full moon. So, you know, there was kind of a set day. The next piece I have is Sir Thomas, and I am stitching this with Sarah, Memphis Sarah E, and Bobby from Pumpkin Creek Primitives, and Sarah from Big Red Human Crafter, and the 805 Stitcher, and Justine from X's and Hoes, and I think that's it. We just started a big group in November where we chopped him all up into 11 or 12 pieces. I think I technically have 10 pieces, and the goal is to finish him by Thanksgiving. And I think if I keep stitching on track, I should finish all of the crosses and back stitching by September, and that leaves October for beading. So he'll be ready by Thanksgiving. I'm stitching this on all the called for. It's a 28 count Jobelin. What's the name of the fabric it's on? Pearl, China Pearl by Witchelt. Oh, I messed up my folding. I had it all folded nice and pretty to show you. And I'm using all the called for Sullivan's Rainbow Gallery, and then when I get to beading, it'll be using the Mill Hill beads. So I think last time I showed it to you, I had already done the head, and then we had our Zoom meeting, and I haven't finished December and January's piece, which is the rest of this. So I got to there, but I didn't go back and do the orange or whatever this lighter brown color is. And so when I finished the head, I decided to just keep going that way, because I think that's where my Q-snap was when we were doing the Zoom call. And then I decided to finish it out as I go around. And my plan is, since that was my December and January section, I'm not going to go back and finish it, because then I'll get too far behind if I don't keep up with my other parts. So I'm just going to use this to stitch on our Zoom calls, because it's really easy stitching, and it just works really well. So this month I stitched the corn, and I literally put the last stitches in before I started filming. I put in the back stitches around there, but I did that whole corn. It was so fast. I think Bobby said it was 1,500 stitches, but it did not feel like it. It went so fast. And this is 2 colors of Rainbow Gallery, and then you've got 3 colors of green and 2 colors of brown. And then this is another Rainbow Gallery Sparkly. And it was just so fun. There's a couple of beads that are gonna go in there at the end, but it was nice and fast, and I felt like I made a lot of progress in just a couple of days. And so I definitely get my fire renewed on this piece every time I take it out, which is good, right? That's what you want. So the last piece I have to show you is a new start. I decided to do a leap day start. I wanted to do it in 2020, but I was a baby stitcher and I really didn't know enough to know what I would want to do. So this year, if you don't know, the purpose of a leap day start is you start it on leap day, and then the goal is to finish it in 4 years by the next leap day. And you're supposed to pick a fairly big piece that would take you 4 years to finish. So I picked Let Love Rain by Teresa Kogut. And I bought this at Market last year, and it's just kind of been hanging out waiting for an excuse to start it. But if you're familiar with Forbidden Fiber Co. and you follow me there, you know that I am not a brown person. I might have actually said it on this channel too, I'm not really sure, but I'm really not a brown person. I'm really more of a gray person. So even though I love it, and for me, honestly, what gets me is this blue. And so when I started to pull the flosses, it was just really brown. The whole list of floss is just like brown, golden brown, dark brown, drab brown, and then you've got this one blue. And when I pulled the blue, it was really more gray. And so I decided to convert it. And I just did a DMC conversion. And this is my first time doing that. And it is hard to change a color palette. I convert DMC into my, my floss, Forbidden Fiber Co. floss, all the time. And it is a piece of cake compared to this. But that's the palette I decided on. And so this peach and this coral right here is what started the whole thing and where I drew the rest of the colors from, because instead of these brown and gold flowers up here, I wanted the peach and coral flowers. And that came from, I knew I wanted to convert it, but I didn't have any idea what I wanted to do. And then I was stitching Consider the Lilies. And that's when I decided that I really liked the coral and the peach colors that I was stitching with on that one. And so the rest of the palette just kind of came from there. This is the blue I picked for the house and some of the flowers because it just felt more like how it was pictured. And I actually got to see the model in Teresa's booth in Nashville, and her blue looks like this. So I don't know what was up with my skein of whatever that color was, but it wasn't the same. So there we go. And I changed out a lot of the browns for grays, which I thought would give it a really modern feel. But I was super nervous because I thought I might be a little crazy trying to put grays in flowers and houses and stuff instead of browns. Wow, I just lost my words. But here's where I got to, and I absolutely love it. So there's the coral and the peach, and the inside of that is those grays and then the black. And then these are the 2 greens I picked instead of like real olivey drab kind of greens, which worked great with the other color palette. I picked a little bit bluer greens. So yeah, that's where I got to. Once I started it on Leap Day on February 29th, I did not want to put it down. And my intention while we were in Nashville was to stitch on Hawk Run Hollow because I really wanted to finish that 11th block. But once I started on this, I couldn't put it down. And I'm stitching it on 46 count Toasted Coconut by Forbidden Fiber Co. I chose 46 count because it fits on a fat quarter and I really didn't want to use a whole half yard, but also just because 46 count is new in the shop and I really wanted to try it out. Toasted Coconut is like our most popular colorway ever, and it was just perfect for this palette. It's a really warm brown. Tannish brown, and there's some good modeling in it. So yeah, stitching on 46 count wasn't that hard. It was the first night that I did it, when I started it, it was a little bit hard because the lighting in the hotel room wasn't very good. But once I got some light on it, it wasn't much different than 40 count. And I love that coverage. It's amazing. I don't know if it's blurred by the camera or not by being so close up, but I just love it. So yeah, I think I've kind of been going back and forth on how I want to stitch it to let it go 4 years. Like at first I was thinking I wanted to do the whole border, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across the top on the border, and then I think I'm going to come down and stitch this first flower and then stitch the words. And if I still have time this year after that, I'll start in on the houses. And I think I'm just going to keep going down and stitch it section by section, because there are 4 sections in here. It's just this one's really big, so I would probably need to stitch these 2 sections in 1 year and this one in 2. Maybe do the border in 1 year and then this in 2. I don't know. I've got a little time to decide, but I think that's currently my plan of action. So that's all the stitching I have to show you. I did bring some haul back from Nashville. But first, I just want to say thank you to everyone who placed a pre-order or who might have encouraged their LNS to shop with us in Nashville. It was an amazing experience, and it was my 3rd year being there. It was the first year that Charity and Kelly, who are 2 of my 3 managers, and Charity dyes the majority of our fabric now, and she dyes a good bit of the floss too. We both kind of have certain colors that only, like, it's weird. Dyeing floss is so weird. And things come out differently depending on the humidity in the air and the pH of the water and just all this other stuff. So there are certain colors that she gets that I can't get, and that I get that she can't get. So we kind of trade off on the floss. I'd say she probably dyes the majority of it, while I'm kind of more managing the business and doing social media and email marketing and designing cross-stitch patterns and dyeing yarn and stuff like that. But anyway, they got to come for the first time, and they were there on Saturday, so that was fun. And Sarah, Memphis Sarah Ia, and Zan, Crazy Bandling Stitches, came with me again for the 3rd year. And it was just a really neat girls' weekend with some business in between, and got to talk with so many fun designers that I really only get to see in Nashville, and other fabric dyers and just shop owners that I talk to all year long on a regular basis, but I only get to see them face to face in Nashville. So it was just a really amazing experience. And yeah, hopefully our fabric will be in a lot more shops this year. And we had a few designs that I released there, or not released, but I brought with me. And then there were 4 patterns that were released in Nashville that used my floss. And there were 2 patterns that were released that used our fabric. So Amanda May from Ardith Designs released the Skipjack Sampler and Rose Merlot and Chardonnay, which nay was spelled out like a horse's neigh. Both of those used our floss, and they were so fun. And then Susan from Sweet Wing Design released For Such a Time, using my floss, and it was so sweet. It's the verse, perhaps you were made for such a time as this, comes out of Esther. And if you don't know the story, Esther becomes queen, and basically her entire plight is to save the Jews from being killed. And she risks her life to save her people. And if anyone had found out that she was a Jew, it would have been bad. And every year on Holocaust Memorial Day, I share the history of my family. My dad's grandparents, well, his entire family is from Russia, but on his mom's side, especially his grandparents, his mom was born in Russia too. And his grandpa was a political writer, and when the communists came in to take over the country, he became persona non grata. Like, they were hunting him down. Like, he couldn't make a living. He couldn't live. He was likely going to be killed. And so they escaped in the middle of the night. My grandma was 4 years old, my dad's mom, and they fled in the middle of the night. My grandma fell and started screaming, and they had to knock her over the head and knock her out to get them safely on a train that took them into Manchuria and into China. And from there, I don't really know how, but they made their way into France. And my great-grandpa couldn't find a job. And so he couldn't support my great-grandmother and my grandmother. And he was just at odds, didn't know what to do. This was the 1930s-ish. And a wealthy jeweler in Paris fell in love with my great-grandma, and there's some drama that went on with that. But basically, my great-grandpa said, I'm never going to be able to support you. You need to divorce me and marry him. He can take care of you and our daughter. And she did. And right around that time, Hitler started rising up in Germany, and they kind of read what was coming, and they were Jews, and they fled, and they basically went on vacation in America and never went back. And my great-grandfather was sent to Auschwitz, and he was killed there. So every year on Holocaust Memorial Day, I tell this story, and Susan, sweet Susan, dedicated the pattern to Baboose and Deduce, which is what we called my grandmother and who I thought my entire life was my great-grandfather, but it turns out he was a step great-grandfather. My real great-grandfather had stayed in France, and we called them. Babushka means grandmother in Russian, and Dedushka means grandfather in Russian. So even though Deduce was French, we called him Deduce. And so she dedicated it to them on the back of the pattern. And I'm telling you, I was tears, couldn't help it. It meant the world to me, and it's a beautiful pattern. And so we did the floss for that. And then Diane from Silver Creek Samplers designed a pattern inspired by Harriet Tubman called Day of Jubilee, and that used our floss as well. So we had all of those floss packs there, and quite a few stores took some home with them, and I'm going to be putting them in the shop on Friday, so you'll be able to get them. If you pre-ordered those patterns for market and you want the floss, it'll be available in the shop on Fridays. Our update is usually at 4 p.m. Central. And yeah, so, and then Misty from Luminous Fiber Arts released 2 patterns, one on our honey blush fabric and one on our toasted coconut, which, like I said, I think I said it was one of our most popular fabrics, or pretty much our most popular fabric of all time. So she released those 2 patterns too. So it was really cool after 3 years to see all that, and to feel like I was a part of Nashville in a whole different way. I did do some shopping. I wasn't going to do any shopping, but I did, because that's what we do. And so let me just show you. I'm at 28 minutes. I don't know how much of that I can edit out, but so I'm gonna be quick. The first thing I have is from Petal Pusher Sunflowers. I wasn't gonna buy it. Zan bought it for me. I do love sunflowers. One of the patterns that I released at market was about sunflowers, and I essentially charted my house and my sunflower garden from last year. So she bought that for me. And then I got into trouble at Glendon Place. I bought 2 charts, and then I ordered another one that she didn't have there. This is Merry Christmas. And the pattern does not do this justice, because this is essentially all sparkle and beads. And some of these colors in here are Sullivan's. She likes to chart in Sullivan's to keep the cost down, because she uses so much sparkle and beads, but there's a DMC conversion. So yeah, the picture, this whole word Christmas is sparkle, and it's amazing. And so I got that. And then I also got the floss pack with all the Rainbow Gallery flosses. And then I also got Eggs All Around. And again, so much sparkle and beads. The picture doesn't possibly do it justice. If you could see the model, it's gorgeous. And Sarah and I decided that we're going to start this on Easter, but we're not going to really work on it until after we finish Sir Thomas at Thanksgiving. So, but we want to start it at least on Easter, so we don't have to wait a whole year to start it. So I got that, and then I got the embellishment pack for that. Sorry for the crinkles. All these beads, like I said, the picture doesn't do it justice. There's a whole bunch of Krynic in there, and then it's charted in Gentle Art, but she's included some Dinky Dyes silk in there for all of this greenery. So I got that, and then the other piece I got was another Christmas one, and I'm completely blanking on the name. I'll show it when it arrives, but it's another one with, someone brought it to her and it was custom framed and it was just beautiful and I couldn't resist. So, and then Primitive Hair is always our neighbor. For the whole 3 years we've been there, they've been next door to us. And this is the first year I fell down in their shop. I've really exercised a lot of restraint in their shop in previous years. This one I blame Sarah for. You're the fairest of them all. One of the women helping out in the Primitive Hair booth said that she thinks that it would be really cute finished in like a hand mirror. And I thought that would be cute. And Sarah handed it to me saying it would be neat to stitch this for one of my girls. And I said, well, I can't just stitch it for one of them because I can't tell one of them that they're fairer than the other. So I might stitch it twice. And this one is How to Be a Mermaid. And she didn't have any of this fabric there, and I thought that if I stitched it on just a plain piece of fabric, the mermaid up here would stick out. So I think I'm gonna put the mermaid either below or above and kind of just make it longer. But yeah, it says how to be a mermaid, be enchanting, see the best in others, sing your song, and make waves. And I want to stitch that for Noelle. And then I got Miss Cupid. It's just a little cute collection of Valentine's Day smalls. I really like her dress and I like the love. Love is kind. My pile is falling because of the beads. And then the last pattern I got in Primitive Hair is the Reader, and it's a little needle book. And I've never done a needle book before. That's what it looks like on the inside. Sarah loves needle books, and so we decided we're gonna have a needle book along. She got a really cute little St. Patrick's Day one, and we didn't make any specific plans to start, like a start date or anything, but it's coming at some point. And I think I'm probably going to change the color palette on this because it's a little sepia for my taste, and it's beautiful on this fabric, but I know that I would prefer some brighter colors. So I'll probably just stitch it from stash, from Fancy Floss that I have in stash. Okay, and if I thought I fell down in Primitive Hair's room, I really, really, really hit hard in Teresa Kogut's room. I got Hello Spring. This is a whole book. There's a lot of really pretty patterns in here. Let me see. The models were just, as always, amazing. And her artwork is just so fun. But there was one pattern in particular. Home Sweet Home with the little beehive and the flowers. I just love it. So that will probably be the first one I stitch from this. Who knows when I'm gonna have time, but it was just too good to pass up. And I think, no, this is the other one that I bought. I think this is the first one that I want to stitch is Cherry Jubilee, because look at that beautiful red. And I love cherries. The bird who dares to fall is the bird who learns to fly. And I love that sentiment. So yeah, there's more than just those two, but those are the two that I bought the book for. And then Hello Autumn. I got this book, number one, because I love the patterns in it, but it was also the very last one they had on Sunday. And that, I love that farm and the scarecrow. That scarecrow really gets me. But there's also Folksy Thomas is adorable. And I have to stitch him. Maybe after I finish Sir Thomas. There's also another scarecrow in here that was really cute. There's a couple of scarecrows in here that are really cute. This one, Sunflower Sam. I love those little sunflowers. So yeah, I had to get that one. There's more patterns in there too, but. And then I got And God Saw. And I love this whole thing, but I'm highly considering just stitching the middle and changing that house to green because my house is like a grayish green. But I really love the flowers too. So I'll probably end up stitching the whole thing. And I might end up converting it to brighter colors like I did Let Love Rain. Like I said, it's making the house green, but I don't know. I don't have any immediate plans for that. And then the last one I got at Teresa Kogut was Strawberry Manor. And this was just an impulse buy that I picked up at the last minute before I checked out because I love strawberries. They're my favorite fruit. And yeah. So that was my Teresa Kogut purchases. And then Sarah and I are going to stitch this together. I don't remember when we said we're going to start it, but it's All Hallows Eve. Oh, I think we're going to start it when I finish Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. And this is by Blueberry Ridge. And I had said I wanted it, but I really had no business buying another Halloween chart because I have Hawk Run Hollow, Quaker Pumpkins, and the Jonah Elliott one, the Halloween sampler. And I feel like I have another one. And I want to start All Hallows Eve by Teresa Kogut, the Halloween sampler, not All Hallows Eve, the Halloween sampler by Teresa Kogut. Sarah already started it and I want to start it too. It was actually in the running for my Leap Day start. So there's that one. And then, so that's all I bought, all I bought. And then Sarah brought this little needle case that's so adorable. It says Feeling Stabby. So I thought I'd share that. It's really cute. And then the other thing is Zan bought me this adorable bag from Creative Country Girl, Tammy Blaylock. And it's to keep Let Love Rain in because I was carrying it around in a grocery bag. I literally packed my projects at the very last minute on Thursday morning before we left. And so I was carrying Let Love Rain and the fabric and all my floss in a grocery bag. And Zan basically said I was embarrassing her and that no self-respecting stitcher used a grocery bag as a project bag. And so she bought this from Tammy for me and gave it to me there. So yeah, that's everything I got at Market. And I think that's about it for me this week. I am going to go probably grab some lunch and run a couple errands and edit, and I have some model stitching I need to do and some other worky like things that I'm going to do, and hopefully I'll get this posted by the end of the day today, Wednesday, and hopefully I'll see you in a couple weeks. Thanks for joining me. Bye.